Part 2. Iron Fist. Explanation.
Drug business along with hand. Now no one will have to use powder or injection to take drugs, just passed a sticker to take drugs. After it, Danny goes to his brother and tells him this, but his brother says, "Let me handle the company and you solve this hand, ninja and drug problem." Danny goes to meet Colleen and there he meets a girl who was a nurse. She comes to take karate training from Colleen and Danny invites them at dinner and offers them to join him. They agree and they move in search of the drug together and they search for it everywhere but couldn't find it, but Danny finds a chemist at a secret place. He is the one who made drug stickers and Danny fights with his gourds and during this mistakenly the knife stabs the chemist. After it, they bring that chemist to Colleen's school. There was the nurse with them so she tries to save him while bandaging him. The chemist tells I made those drug stickers because Madame Gao has my daughter whom she has made a hostage. Danny goes to meet Madame Gao and they promise while putting hands in water that we will fight and the one who will be defeated will accept his defeat and will leave the city. In the Kung Fu world, it is the firm promise while putting hands in water that no one can break. In the first match if the fight two ninjas come to fight with Danny. He fights with them speedily and defeats them using his Kung Fu style. The second match is with a girl who tries to end him while trapping him and giving him poison. Danny understands her trick so he defeats her while kicking her. The third match is with a roadman. And he was brave, as he attacks him with a rod. Danny punches him in Iron Fist style and breaks his rod. There was a yellow light in his hand that is the identity of his Iron Fist. As he was about to defeat him, Madame Gao brings the hostage girl in front. She says, "If you will not accept your defeat and will defeat my companion, I will end this girl." And Danny has to accept his defeat because of the girl unwillingly, which means Gao has broken her promise. The firm promise is just nonsense and Danny goes to attack Gao being furious, but Gao wasn't an ordinary lady. She has powers and using them she throws Danny far. Two strangers come to Danny's father and tries to cut his finger because he wants to punish him for telling Danny about hand, but his father go back on his words. He says, "I don't even know a human named Danny and you are calling him my son." Meanwhile, Danny arrives. And seeing him his father immediately attacks those goons. Danny also fights and ends them and assigns his brother the task to settle their dead bodies. The next day, Danny has to give an important letter to his seniors, but instead of this he gives them lecture. He tells them about masters and the secret place, but being furious the seniors terminate those siblings from company. Danny's sister feels bad because she wants to fight for the company, even her brother was planning a vacation. But when he checks his bank account it was zero because his father has taken all his money so that he wouldn't run. He becomes furious at it and attacks his father with a knife and throws him in the sewer where he threw dead bodies. Danny suspects his father so he investigates about him and he discovers his father has a company in China run by hand. They reach China through plane and arrive that company. And Madame Gao was also there and Colleen was doing sword fighting with a lady. Colleen was defeating her again and again. Danny also fights with a man and beats him a lot. Later, he ends them while stabbing their swords in them. Seeing the dead bodies, Danny understands Gao is responsible for her mother's death. She gave drugs to the pilot, due to which he couldn't handle the plane and it crashed. Danny becomes furious knowing this and punches the door hard in his Iron Fist style and goes to Madame Gao. He makes her hostage. After 3 days there was a movement in sewer and Danny's siblings and father come out from it. It was strange, like since hand has traded him he has become immortal because he wasn't dying. As he comes out and moves to his son means Danny's stepbrother and says, "I have forgiven you. So solve the matter while forgiving me," but he doesn't agree. His father puts drugs in his car to teach him a lesson, due to which the police arrest him. He used to take drugs, and it proves from the medical report that these are his drugs. He tries to make the police understand that this is his father's trick, he is trapping him, but none believes him. As his father died because of cancer many years ago, and he was in jail, so his father used his daughter for his task. He tells her his secret, and hearing this she gets surprised, but happy, because she feels she has got her father. But he was using her for his purpose. Danny has imprisoned Madame Gao in Colleen's school. Colleen's condition gets worse as she was shot a poison bullet, and it was the same potion used by Gao. Colleen was about to die, but a doctor comes to treat her and saves her. He was actually a college professor. He has taught Colleen Kung Fu. Here they start doing Kung Fu, and he asks Danny to be a professor in his college. Danny discovers from Gao that the doctor also works for Hand, and Danny feels strange to hear this. He goes to check their system and find many computers there, and he doesn't understand where they here. But he starts breaking them while thinking if they belong to Hand they must be evil. Meanwhile, the doctor arrives and says, "What have you done? There were my favorite movies in them." And after it, a fight starts between them, and during this a boy arrives who was Danny's companion. And he starts fighting for Danny, and he was with Danny at that secret place. They and many companions of Doctor. All the doors were closed when they tried to move from there, and they were trapped here. The doctor sends his skilled persons on Kung Fu to fight with Danny, and Danny also tries to turn his iron fist on. But this time, he didn't get the iron fist style, and he doesn't need it right now because he was brave. Those ordinary Kung Fu persons can't defeat him, and Colleen helps Danny and opens all the doors. Danny's companion asks him to come back to the secret city where the masters live who saved your life in childhood. This is Iron Fist's task to protect that place. On another side, Danny's father discovers Hand is using their back account. He decides to empty all the accounts so that he can destroy Hand. The doctor holds Colleen, and when he discovers that she supported Danny to end Hand, he asks his companions to end her brutally. She somehow releases herself, runs from there, and when she was fighting with the goons outside, Danny arrives and handles Colleen. The doctor goes to meet Danny's stepbrother in jail and offers him that if your father will be ended, I will make you company chief because I am handling the company. He agrees, and they attack the secret place where their father lives, and Danny's stepbrother says, "And my father. But don't say anything to my sister," and the doctor points at his sister and says while shooting this sister. Obviously she dies with it, and then he video calls Danny and shows him the situation. Like how evil his stepfamily is, and seeing it, Danny gives himself to him. That how mad I was trying to save all evil people like my father, sister and brother. I was supporting them, and the doctor don't want to end Danny, just want to take his powers. That's why he was taking him with him, but here Danny's companion arrives and save him. He fights with all the goons, and there was a fight between Colleen and the doctor. She wins, even she was his student. She defeats the doctor but couldn't end the doctor because he has powers like superheroes. Meanwhile, Danny's companion arrives and stabs knife in the doctor's chest and says, "You are his student, that's why not ending him, but I have no relation with him." Danny's companion asks him to go with him. He refuses to go, that's why there was a fight between them. Later, it was decided among them to live in this city. But as they move back, they don't find the doctor's dead body there, it disappeared. Danny and Colleen were together in the next scene, and he receives his stepbrother's text. It says leave immediately, but before he could understand, the commandos attack them. They escape while using their kung fu skill and beat them a lot. Here, it discovered that Hand was none other than the doctor. And now because he died, so there was none to handle the company. Then surprisingly Danny's father arrives. Yes, he wasn't dead but revived again like always. He was behind all the wrong tasks and he was supporting hand. Knowing the truth, Danny goes to fight with his stepfather who was the real villain. He wasn't less than anyone and has done all preparations to remove Danny from the path. But instead of this, Danny moves inside in his Iron Fist get-up while breaking the office window. On another side, Colleen moves to end Danny's stepbrother but he escapes because he turned behind at the right time. Danny punches his Iron Fist punch on the earth with his full power, with which everyone along with the broken glass pieces start fleeing. Danny's brother also gets evidence against his father. And when their stepfather tries to escape, Danny chases him. They fight through pipes and Danny stabs him a pipe. He doesn't die because he has powers like superheroes. After it, Danny was leaving. But their father is a villain so he shoots Danny from behind, but he stops the bullet with his Iron Fist hand. During this, his brother arrives and shoots his father. Due to it, he falls down and people set him on fire, so he wouldn't revive again. Everything becomes fine after it. Danny's stepbrother gets the company back and he got rid of his cruel and deceiver father. Danny's stepsister is shown who remained alive after that bullet and now she was with Danny's companion. Geo was also sitting near them and listening to them. Danny is seen moving to the master's secret location with Colleen to ensure everything is okay. There he finds many dead bodies of his masters and feels bad to see this. Here, Season 1 ends.